Broads Media.
Needed it in my blood. I needed a series win in my blood. Welcome on in, everybody. If you are new to the channel, hello, welcome. Make sure you hit the subscribe button to join the family here at Broads Media, and you can take me on the road with you. That's right, dangerous. I know, this voice, 24/7 in your eardrums. All you have to do is go to Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and search Sports Talk with Broads, and you will be able to listen to the audio podcast in your car. There's nothing sweeter. If you leave a 5-star rating and a review, that will mean the world. And lastly, all the information is down below in the description. But if you want to join the memberships here on YouTube for $4.99 a month, you will get access to Coffee with Broads live streams twice a week, and also our Discord channel, which is a 24/7 chat room. You're not going to want to miss out. All the information down below. Thank you all so much, and enjoy the show. I forgot what winning a series on the road was like. Thank you, Marsh, for saving my sanity. I would have been pissed if they fell 2 out of 3 to this Detroit team. All right, now look. Tuesday night wasn't lovely, watching Trea Turner boot the ball, and now poor Ranger Suarez has to deal with the ramifications of his ERA going up when the score booking should have clearly been an error, and their offense did not shine on that particular night. But taking 2 out of 3 is the name of the game, and you move on to a 4-game set back at home against a dreadful Miami team. Let's just keep the wheels turning. That's what it's all about. Bryce Harper is playing ridiculous baseball. I mean, ridiculous. You see what Shohei Ohtani is doing with the long ball, and somehow Bryce Harper, maybe not as many home runs as Shohei, but the fact that he's doing his thing, and I think it's more impactful. His extra base hits, his doubles, and obviously there's enough long ball in there to, just compete with what Shohei's doing. It's outrageous. Bryce, before today, smacking 390 this month. Guy's a machine. He won an MVP. This might be the best baseball I've seen him play ever in a Phillies uniform. He won an MVP. He had special postseason moments. Braves, Padres, that I think about every day of my life. The Chicago Cubs, huge comeback, John Kruk. Oh, my God. Right? Everybody knows exactly the call I'm referencing. Potentially the best baseball I've seen out of Bryce Harper in a Philadelphia Phillies uniform. It's incredible. It truly is incredible. Game 1 Monday night. They take game 1 of the series. Aaron Nola throws a gem. 7 innings pitched, no walks. That would be 0 walks and 1 earned run. But the name of the game was bizarre for that one. Because, well, they finished with 15 hits, and they take advantage of some sloppiness by Detroit. They go up 4-0 in the first inning, thanks to Bryce, thanks to Alec Boehm and his ability to drive the ball over the wall. For as many outstanding swings as there are on this team, because when Brandon Marsh gets a hold of one, as you saw, opposite field, ew, it looks good, that pop, ew. Bryce, ew. Hang a pitch over the heart of the plate, ew. Kyle, he goes one knee and golfs it like he's utilizing a 5-iron. Dude can just go get it and half swing, and it goes a billion feet. And with all of the outstanding home run ability in this lineup, truth be told, when Alec Boehm gets a hold of one, he might have my favorite swing out of everyone in this lineup. But think about that. Think about what that's saying. Now, unfortunately, I don't get to witness it as much as I would like to witness it, and maybe that's the issue. If I got to see it 35 times a year, if I got to see it 40 times a year, then maybe I don't appreciate it as much. Kyle, let's just mix in another 50. Let's just mix in another ho-hum, 46. So the fact that I only get to see it 12 or 13 times a year is what makes it that much more sexy to me. I don't know. But damn it, when he grooves one, it's so good. But what made that game so strange, you get 15 hits, but you strike out 17. 17 strikeouts, 15 hits. You win 8-1, and there's even a triple play involved because of some stupid base running. And I don't know if they thought the comebacker back to Aaron hit the mound and it was a ground ball instead of him actually catching the ball. Aaron throws it to first to double it up, and they throw it across the diamond to get the triple play. Listen, they don't ask how, baby. They just ask how many. And the answer is 3. 3 fucking outs that inning, okay? And 2 wins this series. And to do it away from South Philly, they desperately needed it. You're talking about May. That's how long it took. For this team to have this type of record and to be this good, for it to take this long to win another series away from home is bonkers. So I needed it for my own sanity, which you know can be a little all over the place. But that's what happens when you allow these teams, well, to dictate your life and your life feelings, because it will get crazy. All right, unfortunately, we did have bad news in this series, though, and it looks like Spencer Turnbull is going to have to get checked out. I listened to him post-game, and he didn't really say anything that is concerning. He feels he'll be okay, but you never know until you get more testing done. Now we can have the debate on, was this the Phillies' fault for the way they handled him? Starter, bullpen, starter, and you're asking someone to get stretched back out again. And I think there's legitimate reasons to wonder, or there's legitimate thoughts that go through my mind, and I wonder if there is a correlation with how they handled Spencer Turnbull and why maybe he felt something in his second to last pitch when he threw a curveball when Rob Thompson was explaining what he learned during the game. But at the same time, Spencer Turnbull has been in this league for a while now, and he seems to be getting hurt all the time. All the time. So does that mean everywhere he's been in Detroit that they just pissed all over him too, and they just kept putting him in awful spots every single time too? Or is this just a part of the Spencer Turnbull experience and the reasons why the Phillies were so adamant about limiting his innings and trying to not force him to start a bunch of games is because they know the wear and tear gets to him more casually than it does most? And I don't think that that's an absurd take either. He only threw 36 pitches. Now, you get on the board 1-0. And with the blink of an eye, after you have bases loaded, no outs, only score 1 run, Dusty Wathan doesn't send Kyle Schwarber, which pissed me off. They only get 1 run out of that inning. Matt Vierling ties it up 1-1. But after that solo shot by Matt Vierling, I thought Spencer Turnbull really showed some decent stuff. And when he goes 36 pitches and you're hearing that Gregory Soto is warming up and it seems like it's going to be his time to shine, well, damn it, what the hell's going on here? But I do think there is something to wonder about why the Phillies took this approach, why Taijuan was constantly getting the nod. Maybe it's more than just he gets paid X, Y, and Z. Maybe it's more than he's been around the league long enough and he was paid here to be in the rotation. Like, maybe there's real reasons to wonder if Spencer Turnbull can make it all the way through. Because part of the speculation and the conspiracy theories were that they're trying to save Spencer Turnbull until the back end so he could be as fresh as humanly possible. You got a big lead in the NL East. I'm saying as they were having bigger leads with the Braves. Obviously, the Braves have done some things, although I think they have, a doubleheader against St. Louis because there was a postponement. So they lost the first game of the series, and then they didn't play on Tuesday. Let's take a look on the update with Atlanta. So Atlanta is currently beating the Cardinals in game 1 of the doubleheader, 6-2 in the top of the 8th. So unless something bonkers happens, it seems like they're going to take game 2, which means game 3, which would be tonight, second game of the doubleheader, will be the rubber match. There's something to keep our eyes out on. But the point is that I'm bringing up is there was some speculation and some conspiracies that you just try and keep Spencer Turnbull as fresh as possible. So you have this Swiss Army knife weapon that's waiting behind the scenes for whenever it's his time to pounce. And, well, the Phillies sort of understood. That's the best way to utilize him, because if you ask him to start and if you ask him to try and pitch 6-7 innings an outing, he doesn't make it that long. I think it's a combination of that and the fact that they want Taijuan to be the answer considering the money. I think money talks. I think the decision to have Taijuan here and to pay him was definitely a reason why he was given an opportunity to really try and hold down that position, and they gave him as many flyers as possible until, well, you just can't justify it anymore. But now you got to make a decision, and it seems like they know what they're going to do. And what is going on with this stupid wire? It's pissing me off. Anyway, yeah. 4 RBI, 4 hits for Marsh. He probably could have had 5 RBI if Dusty Wathan knew how to send Bryson Stott with him on second base after I thought Stott had some really aggressive base running in this one, stretches a single to a double, works his ass off, and when you're not performing as well as you want to at the plate, I think you have to try and manufacture the best way you can some sort of life so you can feel positive about yourself, and maybe just the way he tries to explode with some extra bases and things of that nature could make him find his game again. But look, Brandon Marsh looked dead in the water, and then all it takes is one game where he was ripping it pretty comfortably, and he seriously could have had 5 RBI. Okay, 5 RBI should have been his total with 4 hits. So it happens quick. It happens with the blink of an eye. Let's see what Stott can do. He's too good to be limited this way. He's too good of a hitter, and he works good at bats. Like, it's inevitable that Bryson Stott will find himself again and start to be that key piece and that key contributor that we like. Let's bring up the Trea Turner debacle, because Ranger Suarez gets boned with his ERA due to the fact that Trea Turner boots a ball. Could he have went to third base to get it out? He probably didn't have a play at first base. So I was on WIP right after that game, Tuesday night. And I asked the question to the people, how comfortable are you with Trea Turner and his defense? And to nobody's surprise, the phone lines lit up with moving him to left field, moving him to outfield. And I don't know if today's the day to really dive into this, but I'll tell you what. Something that doesn't sit right with me is I can easily project a playoff game where Trea Turner has horrible defense and misses fundamental plays. The thing is, he did show signs of having a lethal defensive ability right before the error happened. And I'm using air quotes because of the stupid scorekeeping. But it did happen where he was sensational right before that. I've seen him make good plays. Him and Bryson Stott turned to beautifully in this rubber match. Just excellent transitions to the glove. Just good stuff, man. Transitions to the throwing arm to the left. It was just smooth, just all around. It was more Bryson Stott than Trea Turner, but Trea got it to him quickly, and he had a hand in that as well. But my point is, I see him do so many sharp things, but I also am aware that it's probably going to come up because that's Trea, right? Like, you could praise Bobby Dickerson all you want, and you can praise the infield coach and how much Bohm has improved and all this stuff, but at the end of the day, this is part of the Trea Turner experience, and I just don't know what you can do about it, right? Because Dave Dombrowski, and this is my problem. Let me, before I get to the Dave Dombrowski front, my problem is I know it's going to cost you, and I like to get out ahead of problems instead of waiting for a disaster to happen. You want to get out in front of the disaster. You don't wait for the disaster and then go, shit, what do we do now? No. You got to see it, and then you got to act accordingly to make sure you put your team in a position where a disaster doesn't happen. But I don't know how much you can really do. At some point, this is your team. For example, in years past, it was they are atrocious defensively, and they are built to hit past those problems. There's not much you can do defensively. That's who you are. The way to win is to out-hit those mistakes. And with Trea, with how they are currently constructed, knowing Dave Dombrowski is on the prowl to get an outfield bat, which is desperately needed. So you will have Brandon Marsh play center. You'll have whoever you go get maybe play left, or maybe you go get a center fielder. Brandon Marsh plays left. Nick is playing right. There's nowhere for Trea Turner to go. You're not benching Nick, all right? There are people say, well, you bench Nick. You ask him to be a bench bat for you and just a pinch hitter. I'm like, all right, dude, listen. I'm all on board with maybe having some barroom conversation on maybe flip-flopping Stott and Trea because, well, shortstop is a more prominent position, but I don't think that would happen. You paid Trea the big bucks as a start to be the face as a shortstop, at least for the short term here. Maybe in the back end of his career, he turns into a different position, but for right now, the meat and potatoes of the prime of that contract, it was about him being the guy. So we can't get too out of whack where we're taking out all of the, like, Nick's not going anywhere. Nick hasn't been out of the lineup. Nick is not going anywhere. So I won't let it go to an extreme of insanity. Let's keep it within range. And even within range, I don't think they'd ever flip-flop Bryson Stott and Trea. But that's my best thing to think about improving shortstop is that. And I think that, well, having a better glove at shortstop is more important than having a better glove at second base. So that's how I would handle it. But it bothers me that I know it's going to kill you, and I don't really have much to do about it and not many future things to do about it. Like, there's nothing you can do about it this year. There's just nothing. Trea Turner's going to make mistakes. Trea Turner's going to have sloppiness. Can he get on base in front of Bryce so then Bryce can hit a 2-run jack and now you're up 2-1? If Trea makes a mistake and the other team scores and it's the Braves in the NLDS and now you're down 1-0 early and Kyle Schwarber walks, can Trea Turner make it first and third so then Bryce can deliver a 3-run jack and now you're up 3-1? That's how it needs to go. That's how this team is going to win. There's nothing you can do about it. There's no internal fix and there's no outside fix at a deadline. You're going to get an outfielder and you're going to get yourself some bullpen help. And maybe at this point you even have to wonder about what you're going to do with the starter due to the inflammation on the blister with Taiwan and now whatever we're dealing with out of the Spencer Turnbull stuff. So I just thought that was interesting. Now, at least when they lost on Tuesday night, it was against a serious threat as a starter. At least it wasn't a bum with a 6.53 ERA and some joke and a nobody. There was actually substance in the pitching duel, which is also a shame that Ranger now, it looks a lot different than what it should have been, even though, I'm not telling you that inning was perfect by any means, but it definitely doesn't help when you have the disappointment that you do behind him. This wire, I swear to God, the things that are going on in my head about this wire, I wish I could explain it to you. I don't know what's going on. It's all tangled. I'm getting very, very angry. There was also a play in that second game they lost to that I thought Bryce Harper makes more consistently than not. There was a rope down the first base line, and he's got some good glove over there. He's got some good leather. So the fact that went into right field, I was a little shocked by that. I feel he can make that play for sure. But in Bryce Harper fashion, he ends up at least having a home run because, well, why not continue this great surge, So let's go to the phones. Let's go to Aiden in Newcastle, Delaware.
Great series win in Detroit. The last 7 games of this month versus the Tigers and Marlins, I was going in saying it'd be nice to either go 5-2, 6-1. I still think we could go 6-1, go 17-9 for the month, sweep the Marlins 4 games at home, who are absolutely abysmal. This is a great win. First and third game of the series were great. Took control, pretty much handled business. Second game was terrible. Offense just died. Scooble was also pitching. And it'll be interesting to see what they do with the 5th spot. I wouldn't mind putting Mercado in there for a starter, too, if Turnbull does miss some time. He looked nasty the first game of the series. But let's go win another series, hopefully sweep the Marlins in 4 games, and let's go to July. Go Phils.
It seems like it's trending in that way. It does seem like that's what they're going to do with the number 5 position. Rob was asked about it post-game and said, yeah, when you look at how stretched out he is and when his last start was, it might make some sense. So that would be fun. That would give me a little adrenaline shot if he was given the opportunity just because it's new and exciting. And obviously it's not Taiwan Walker, but when you take a look at this Marlins series, I don't know if they're going to take all four. That's very difficult, even against bad teams. 4-game sweeps, so I demand at least 3-1 at the minimum. If you walk away 3-1, then by no means will I be aggravated, unless I guess you take the first 3, and then the fourth game you're up 9-0 in the 7th inning, and then they piss it away and you lose 10-9. All right, I guess I can never say I will definitely be pissed. There's definitely some sort of hypothetical circumstance that could happen that would irritate me. But more times than not, just from a general sense, you take 3-1 record in a 4-game set. And yeah, I mean, you're right about how bad the offense was in this loss. And, outside of, I guess it was the second inning. I think it was the second inning. They had Sosa and Merrifield get on. So the reason I bring this up is in the first game, they did such an excellent job of pouncing on an error early in the first inning and letting them know that you can't get off the hook, all right? I'm sorry. If you're going to wet yourself, you're going to go down multiple runs. It's going to be 4-0 before you even get up to the plate, something along those lines. And I love that attitude from this team. But in the second inning, the Phils have Sosa and Merrifield, very similar situation where I want you to take advantage. But Christian Pache, striking out like he wanted to, striking out like that was his objective going to the plate. All right, let's strike out. All right, let's get Cade every single damn time he walks up to the dish. So it's not really his fault. He's not a major league hitter. He's not a major leaguer, not like that. All right, he's better than Rojas. Believe it or not, offensively, he's better than Rojas. I know when Rojas once got down in the minors, he was killing it. You're talking home runs, you're talking multi-hit games, you're talking stolen bases and this and that, bunt, single, whatever. But it doesn't relate to here. And him, Pache, I'm done with it. I'm done with it. We asked them to have a role to get us to a place where we can improve. And that may suck, but that's the nature of the business. And it's time to go get real outfield help. Real outfield help. And if you didn't listen, you can take a look at the Bleacher Report video that I posted here on YouTube on Broads Media discussing what I'm projecting is possible for Dave Dombrowski this upcoming trade deadline, which I posted about a day ago or so. So check that out if you want some more information on where my brain is at there. Let's go to my good friend Zach in Baltimore.
Well, there we go, getting a series victory on the road for the Phillies. And how about Brandon Marsh coming through today, 4 for 4 with the big home run and just driving the ball, getting on the fastball, making them pay for some hangers. Great day for Marshy getting back on track after a rough stretch he'd had for a while. And, of course, the big situation now is Spencer Turnbull. With him going out, we don't know how long that's going to be. So they're going to need a fifth starter, probably call up somebody from the minors, Mercado, I guess. But that's what I've been hearing. So that may, change Dave Dombrowski's plans. He may be going for a fifth starter at the deadline ahead of outfield help. So we'll see there. But hope Turnbull isn't too bad. And, yeah, series victory. So go Phils.
So that's interesting. Thanks for the call, Zach. So it can't be pitcher over outfield. Outfield is our number one problem. So I was talking to Dan Wilson, my producer at the time, and I threw out there some hypotheticals. Luis Robert is a name everybody likes, of course. Lane Thomas is the name from Washington, which is in my second tier of outfield help. And I said, what if you got the best bullpen available in Mason Miller, and you get Lane Thomas, who isn't obviously a Luis Robert, but it's a very competent Major League Baseball legitimate outfielder, and that's what you acquired if you're Dave Dombrowski at the deadline. And his thought was, it's not egregious, it's not terrible, but the getting the best you never want to be angry with getting the best bullpen piece, especially when the whole entire league is going after this kid, and obviously he's good. But my point is, your bullpen is good. Your bullpen is solidified. I'm not as worried about the bullpen as I am outfield, or I'm not as worried about a bullpen or even the fifth starter as I am the outfield. That's why I brought this up. Same applies to me right now with the starting pitcher. Your number 5 pitcher is not getting any time. This is the same guy, Taiwan, who had a fifth starter role last season, who wasn't even playing in the playoffs. So it's just a regular season role. I can't value a regular season role 5 starter more so than the guy who should be in my lineup every single single day in the outfield during the playoffs. So regardless of what they go get at the deadline, what their number 2 thought is, their number 1 thought has to be outfield no matter what. No ifs, ands, or buts. Outfield has to be number 1 on the target list. And from there, I'll live with anything else. If you want to go get another starter, fine. That's fine. And Spencer Turnbull can be a bullpen piece by the end of this thing. And I think that would be a nice bullpen piece to have if you need some length and you need some, help in the 4th or the 5th inning to bridge the gap to get to the 6th before you start looking at your Hoffmans, your Stroms, your Alvarados. I'm cool with that. Your Kirkerings. I'm okay with that. So I'm not telling you I don't want bullpen help, by the way. I'm just kind of using that as the example and the jumping off point, more so that the emphasis needs to be outfield. If he goes and gets a 5th starter due to these injuries, fine, but it can't be 5th starter over outfield. He can't walk away from this deadline saying, I got a 5th starter and I got bullpen help and nothing in the outfield. Outfield is mandatory. I'd be extremely, extremely upset with Dave Dombrowski, who I think is a super intelligent baseball mind, if not one of the biggest baseball minds in the sport active today, and he needs to know that. And I think he does, but I'm just saying, you have to bring home an outfielder. All right, we'll take one more call, and then we'll wrap things up. I believe this is Rowdy in Syracuse.
Hey, Bruins. Rowdy from Syracuse. Good, decent showing against the Tigers. It's a shame to drop even one game, but 2 out of 3 and just keep cruising along. It'd be nice to have JT get healthy. I think that's kind of starting to show more and more. Too bad Turnbull went down, had to come out of the game. He's looking pretty sharp. Good day for Marsh. That's excellent to see. Harper's keeping it going. The middle game that we lost, I think that's just not scoring when we got guys in position. That's been kind of a theme throughout the year on and off. And some fielding errors, which I think have been a lot better this season overall, but, on to the next series.
It has been better. It has been better. Defensively, it's definitely better than what we've seen in previous years, no doubt. But yeah, they left some guys on base in the 2nd there. And speaking of JT Realmuto, was there anything more frustrating than watching after the first inning happened in this final game, Game 3, right? Where you only score 1 run when you have bases loaded, which is just disgusting. And I'm sorry, Dustin Wathan, you did not have a good day today. I'm sorry. I still can't believe you didn't send Bryson Stott to give our guy Brandon Marsh his 5th RBI of the day. Come on now. But anyway, Garrett Stubbs in the 2nd inning. You got 2 men on. First pitch, he's swinging, and it's a pop-up to the catcher. Now, maybe it was the 2nd pitch. I don't know. The broadcast seemed to keep coming back 1 pitch already into each inning. But it was the first pitch I saw. And he ends up popping up to the catcher. Dude, come on. You got to give me a more competitive at-bat than that, Stubbies! Now, at the end of the day, I don't think the catcher position has been crushing you in the last couple of series without JT. Their job is just to hold on for dear life, and they're doing okay. They're doing fine. But I do want to see this lineup with JT again. That's for damn sure. I do want to see what they could be to push everybody back more and have JT slot back in there. It would be lovely. All right, everybody. Thank you all so much for hanging out with me. I greatly appreciate it, and I will catch you all on the next one.